Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to the channel. My name is Ilona. I'm also known as Chikara Transformations. I'm an online health and fitness coach and I'm also a bodybuilder. And I'm actually almost 17 weeks out from potentially my last ever show. We'll see. So I'm going to be competing at the Amateur Olympia in Portugal in an attempt to finally get a pro card. So if you're curious to see what that journey is all about, then be sure to check it out. I have a vlog channel where I upload, good morning Daisy, where I upload a couple of times a week, full times of eating, training and all of that. And on this channel I've started incorporating shorts as well, again with full days of eating, exercise, tips and tricks, etc. So I am also an online coach, and there's two sort of coaching types that I do. One of which is called the Phoenix Rising, which is an 8-week program where there is a competition at the end of it for the best transformation. You can just buy 8-week training plans with nutrition on its own or just a training plan. But if you want to be part of the competition, which has check-ins and live streams, etc., then be sure to send me an email. The next Phoenix Rising will start on the 3rd of April. And there is limited spaces for check-ins. I only have 20 spots available because I will be prepping, so I can't take on as many people. If you want to be part of the competition but without a check-in, it's unlimited, obviously. There's Discord access, etc. as well. And I also do one-to-one coaching, where I will write up a training plan based on your gym and on your goals, as well as bespoke nutrition. And we check in on a weekly basis via WhatsApp, doing voice or FaceTime. With the WhatsApp, there is like 24/7 support, so you can send me a message anytime and then I'll be able to respond within 24 hours. Obviously, there is time zone differences, etc. But if you're interested in that, then again, the email is in the description down below and we'll go from there. So I am also on TikTok, and I mostly use TikTok to make shorts because I find the TikTok app easy for editing. But we are going to be looking at some TikToks. We're going to look at our favorite anorexic narcissist, Tess Holliday. So I figured out where we left off last time I did a reaction to her. I do them about once a month, and then within a month usually there's enough content for me to make another video on. So I got a new ring light. I'm not so convinced by it. It's not very bright, is it? It's not making me look very good. But that could also be because I'm not wearing a lot of face makeup. Maybe I need to start wearing more face makeup with this ring light. I don't know. It is what it is. I don't really care too much, to be honest. Right, let's have a look and see what she has to say.
There's been so much discourse on TikTok, especially recently, about fat bodies and weight loss, but also when is there ever a break from those things when it comes to fat bodies? But I digress.
I don't know what she's referring to. But why is she sitting there with like her fucking nip almost showing? There's a time and a place, isn't it? I don't get why she has to sit here with her tit half hanging out. It's a bit weird, to be honest.
And I think the thing that is hardest for me is not when people lose weight. I think that if anyone wants to lose weight, they absolutely should. And great on them. I have no issue with people losing weight. My issue comes when people lose weight and forget to honor what their fat body has.
What you mean, like pain, hospital appointments, or doctor appointments, ongoing medical issues? Like, what has your I'm sure there's nothing. I guess the only thing that can come from, like, I actually don't know because I haven't been obese. I've been like European fat 10 years ago, which is obviously very different from what it is now. And if you're European, you know what I mean by this. But there's nothing that comes from what your fat body does. Your fat body doesn't do anything for you besides cause problems. The only thing that you can learn from it is to not regress back into it and be grateful that you are not that size anymore, and grateful, like, just appreciate what you have. Like, you know, when you just go through a shit time and something good happens, or, you know, you've just been unhappy or you've had financial difficulties and then you don't have it anymore. I think that's the only thing that you can learn from a negative experience, is the fact that there's something positive and you can appreciate it more. Shall we have some cat ASMR? There you go. There you guys go. I know you like the cat ASMR.
It's done for them. The ways that their fat body has carried them through life. You lose the weight, but why do you lose the love and respect for who you are as a whole? I'm not saying if you lose weight that you're still a fat person. but you're still the same person. You might have changed, but that fat body, that was you. That is you.
I mean, she's kind of right in what she's saying. You are you regardless. You just change physically, but I guess that might change you mentally. I don't know.
Anytime I publicly talk about my ED, and you don't have to believe me, but do you really think that the medical community,
I feel like I maybe have seen this, but I'm not sure.
and nutritionists and all of the experts that they interview when they also interview me that agree with me?
I reckon these are very specific, very niche medical professionals. I don't think they are general medical professionals. I think these are people that are like, I'm not going to say like anybody can become a doctor, because obviously it's hard to become a doctor. The point is like you can have some really whack views on certain things and still be considered a medical and be a medical professional. So I'm guessing what they do is they just literally outsource or find people that fall within this particular niche of thinking.
Do you think that they're all lying? So just remember how absolutely batshit crazy you sound saying this, because I'm right, you're wrong. I get this comment a lot. Anytime I publicly talk about
This is a reminder to feed your body and take your meds. Why does she eat like that though? Like, eat a bit nicer.
All right, I keep seeing everyone use the teenage filter, so we're gonna try it. Whoa. Why does this thing?
It literally makes her just look kind of the same, but just with smoother skin.
Kind of low-key make me sad and creep me out.
This is why we have Botox. Teenage me will be proud of who we grew up to be. It's time traveling and compassion for your inner child. I became what I needed. I don't know. Would your teenage you be proud of you? I mean, like, I suppose in a way she's accomplished things. She's making pretty good money probably, so that's good. But it's kind of sad, isn't it? That she's still fit, she's still sick. Like, I'm gonna assume she was obese as a child, so it's kind of like you haven't really overcome anything. You've just managed to use it to your advantage to make money out of. It's like great in a way, I suppose, but I don't know.
I just woke up, and for funsies, I'm going to show you guys what I actually looked like as a teenager, because you're going to howl. For context, I'm 37. I'll be 38 in July. All right, so starting off strong, for those of y'all that didn't know, I went to high school in an abandoned Walmart building. Those were the walls. I'm 16.
Look how big she is here already. She's been big her whole life. It's kind of sad, isn't it, if you think about it? I wonder I wonder if her parents are big, or what made her get to the size that she is. Because obviously this is not, yeah, she's obviously been big her whole life.
16 here. I loved this outfit. My mom got it for me for Lane Bryant in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And y'all, I felt like the cutest thing in the whole world. Now, secondly, I'm going to present to you when I cut
Ooh, that hair is brutal.
off all my hair over summer break, and I came back fresh, 17 with this haircut, and everybody called me a lesbian or a porcupine, and I dropped out of school right after this. This was also taken at the Walmart Portrait Studio where I later worked. All right, and last but not least, me as a 20-year-old mom, not technically a teen.
Look how big she is here. She's literally been enormous her whole life. It's really sad. I actually feel she's very pretty though, but I feel so sad for her that she's clearly never been in a normal sized body.
There's parents out there who don't even like their kids.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. If you have a chance, please watch the video that I just stitched. I have been a mom for 17 years. I have a 17-year-old and I have a 6-year-old. I am a single mom. I have a very demanding life and career.
So it started off with saying in the beginning, some people don't like their kids. I think it's normal. Like, I don't have children. I would love to have children. This is potentially why I'm competing for the last time, but potentially for the last time this year. But the point is that I think it's normal that sometimes you get annoyed by your kids. Like, I love my dogs and I love my cat, but sometimes they're really fucking annoying, and I think that's okay. That doesn't mean you don't love them. It just means that sometimes you're a human being and you just get annoyed. But I don't know what this is going to be about. I don't know if this is my place to be commenting on a parenting video. Let's give it a little bit more time and see what's up.
Career. I also am a mom who suffers from mental health issues, trauma, PTSD, and also being extremely funny. The reason I decided
Well, I guess somebody has to think that, right?
to stitch this video is because when I came across it and I listened to what she was saying, that there's so many parents that get touched out where like they don't want to be touched. Me, especially when I was breastfeeding, there's so many parents that like their kids are breaking their stuff, and yes, it's a minor thing like she said, but it's a real thing. Now I know all of those are just like, you know, kind of tossaways, right? For most people it doesn't mean anything, but for those of you that don't have kids or maybe considering, or for parents, I hope that this just gives you a little insight into what it's like, and also for parents gives you a little comfort in knowing that you're not fucking alone. When I became a mom at 20, I did not want to be a mom. I did not want to do it. The biological father wasn't around. And luckily, when my older son was 2 years old, I met my now ex-boyfriend, who is his adopted father. And I am so...
Yeah, I think this is... Oh, it's difficult, isn't it, when you have kids? I think a lot of times you have to be really sure about whether you want to be with the person. And... you know, obviously sometimes when you're younger as well, you're not always aware of the consequences. So obviously it's important to take care, to make sure you're using contraception and also understand the consequences. But at the same time, it's, kids are just a big responsibility. So like, when I was younger, I never really thought that I wanted to have kids. But towards my mid-20s, towards my late 20s, I did change my mind more. And like, as I'm getting older now, I do really want children. But I'm also very aware of the fact that I am turning 37 this year. So biologically, I'm getting old. And like, I tell you what, I get really annoyed when people tell me I'm not old. And like, in terms of like, when I joke around about age is one thing, but when people say like biologically, I'm not getting old, and they're like, oh yeah, well, there's women that are like 45 that have kids. It's like, yeah, it happens, but let's be real. The chances of, and this is something that I'm very acutely aware of, is that I'm very aware of the fact that the older that I get, the chances of my child being born disabled, the chances of me having miscarriage, the chances of complications during pregnancy, during birth giving, etc., it really compounds a lot. And like, yeah, of course there's people out there that have healthy children at older ages, or women, there's women out there that have healthy children at older ages, but the reality is a lot of them don't. And the increased risks of something happening is just like, it's just a statistical fact. So when people are like, oh yeah, don't worry about it, you have plenty of time. No, I don't. I don't have plenty of times. I don't have plenty of times. I don't have plenty of time. I wish it was like that, but biologically aging is a thing. Now, luckily I'm a pretty healthy person, and I'm sure like a lot of that makes a difference as well. But I just find it weird when people are just denying biology, like in that sense that as you get older as a woman, the chances of issues with getting pregnant, being pregnant and giving birth, they are more, hey Missy, they are very serious, and you just have to be aware of it. So, you know, it's obviously I hope that happens to me if I do get to the point where I'm with somebody, or if I do get to the point with the person I am now that we stay together and we decide to have children and stuff like that, which in a perfect world would happen, but you never know. If, you know, relationships are relationships, aren't they? Like, sometimes things start off great and you don't know how they end. But yeah, I don't know. I just find it interesting how people are always like, no, it's fine, it's fine. It's like, no, it's not. It takes, these things are something we have to seriously think about. And like, I couldn't imagine anything worse than having to have like miscarriages and stuff. Like, for real. I don't know why. It's like almost a fear that I have to have miscarriages. But again, it's obviously something that can happen. You have to take into consideration.
So grateful that man came into our lives because he is a fantastic father. And I 100% wouldn't have been able to be where I'm at without him and his family's support. Now, fast forward to when I had my 6-year-old, I was married, but unfortunately that marriage was very abusive, very tumultuous. And at the end of the day, I never anticipated being a single mom again, especially with a demanding career. But I'm so glad that I'm a single mom because it is far better than dealing with the shit we had to deal with. But nothing prepared me for the constant guilt and the worrying. And
I mean, I don't know what abuse she's experienced. From knowing that Tess is a bit of a drama queen, like, look, if she went through like actual real abuse, that's horrible, and then good for her. But I imagine that the kind of this is hypotheses. This is just based on what I've seen of her. I imagine the abuse that she's been through is maybe not like getting her way, but maybe she got actually abused, and that would be incredibly sad. Like, nobody deserves that, mental or physical.
just the spirals that you go through as a parent. It's not fucking fun. It's exhausting. Duh, right? But I'm constantly worrying, like, am I fucking them up? How can I parent when I need to be reparented? And I myself didn't have an easy childhood. My parents tried their best, but they were young, and my childhood was not easy. So it's like trying to take my shit from my childhood and not put it on my kids while
Yeah, I think this is something also that's a lot of people do, is they carry over their poor experiences, which is kind of normal, I guess. It's like, that's all you know, so you're going to teach that to your children, which is also like, you know, part of the reason maybe why, like, in a way it's been good that I've never had kids so far, because I've not been in a secure relationship that warranted having children, because, you know, like, coming from parents that have separated, it's like, stuff like that does impact you as a child, and things could have been better growing up. So, you know, but again, it's like you make these choices, and sometimes you just have to gamble, because you don't know what's going to happen in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. People change, and ideally, in a perfect world, people do get married, stay together. People do have children, assuming they're going to stay together, but you never know these things.
Also not trying to overcompensate and raise children that are brats because I'm trying to make up for whatever. Also knowing that you're shaping an entire human. What? I know so many people out there are like, well, if it's hard, you shouldn't have had kids. But it's not always that easy. Some of us are promised love and support. So for those of us doing it alone, it's tough.
There's parents out there who
Yeah, I agree with her. Like, sometimes you commit to something, or you get involved in something, and it doesn't turn out the way you expect it. Excuse me, do you mind, please? No.
I look like a hot little rat sitting outside of Subway. But does anybody else just go to Subway and order the same thing that you've always ordered since you were a kid?
I have literally not had a Subway in maybe... It must have been... like, when I lived in the UK last, and it must have been when I still lived in Newbury, so like 5 years? Long time.
Your kid? Come get ready with me to clean my entire house and get ready for an event tonight after...
Me? Obsessed with you? Yes. Yes, I am.
I mean, you can say what she wants, she does have good makeup skills.
I get this comment a lot, so let's address
What the fuck, what's wrong with you? You eat so much. I've seen videos, and it doesn't look like you have an ED and no idea what you're saying.
it. You're right. I do eat. And sometimes I eat a lot. And sometimes, like today, I don't. Would your interpretation of me and my...
Well, the thing is, as an anorexic, you tend to, unless you're binging and purging, you don't really eat a lot. You tend to you're not going to really put it on camera, because that's kind of how it works with anorexia. Atypical as well.
No one will ever hump. I get this comment a lot, so let's address it. You're right. I do eat. And sometimes I eat a lot. And sometimes, like today, I don't. Would your interpretation of me and my perceived health still be the same if you didn't have that information? Would you still think that I was lying to you by looking at me based on...
I think she's lying or not being honest, not because of the fact that she's big, but because of the fact that she's very proud of being obese, and because of the fact that she shows herself eating all the time, and she shows herself eating unhealthy as well. That is what goes against also atypical anorexia. Part of that is that you start off big and you still need to just get small. But the reality is, if you're starving yourself, you're not eating enough calories, which means that you lose body fat. You're not proud of being fat. That is the whole point with anorexia.
Based on the information that I just gave you? What if I told you that I hadn't eaten more than one meal in the last 3 days? Mostly this
I'm going to say you've just been busy, maybe.
time because of heartbreak and less because of an eating disorder. Would you believe me then?
Yeah, but that's stress. It happens. So that's not like her purposely starving herself. She's just going through something causing her not to eat. If I'm very busy or I'm very stressed, I eat less too. If I'm bored, I eat more because I have nothing else to do. That doesn't mean it's an eating disorder. It just means that you just get caught up with other things.
Or maybe, just maybe, it's impossible to look at someone and tell whether or not they're struggling with an eating disorder or if they're healthy. And more importantly, whether either of those two things are any of your business or concern. I share what I choose on social media, and I always have. And some of it you're not going to like or understand. And I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for those that need to see it, that need to hear it. The internet is a big place, and there are going to be plenty of people that you can follow that suit your fancy.
All right, guys, it looks like we have gone through all the test TikToks. So, thank you very much for watching. Do the YouTube things, comment, like, subscribe, obviously. Go and check out my vlog channel as well if you could. That would be great. And subscribe there too if you could. And what emoji shall we use to make it this far? Let's insert a... I'm just trying to think what she talked about. Let's insert a emoji of your favorite animal. Why not? Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.